Do we have a quorum? No, it's 7:30. It should not matter. This is when we start. I'm not gonna- I'd like to call the May 11th Parks and Rec Commission to order. Would you please call the roll call? Everyone, this is Janet.
Yep.
Genevieve. Rita. James. Michael.
Here.
Kristen. Toby.
Here.
William. Renee.
Here.
Riddell.
Here.
Dan. Molly. John. Erica. Lisa.
Do we have a quorum? Does everyone know? Okay. I'd entertain a motion for the approval of the minutes of the last meeting.
Make a motion, approve the minutes.
Second.
Motion's been made and seconded. All in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed, same sign. Motion carries. Minutes approved. It's time for public input. Is there anyone here for public input? Anyone here for public input? Seeing none, we'll move along. Report of, is Erica here? Erica's not here. Do we have any report from the council? Did she send you anything, Molly? No. Okay, we'll put that on to later. Report of Board of Ed, I don't see Lisa Manili here, so there's no one here for the Board of Ed. Okay, well, unless I do it. Special reports, tasks?
I was just going to give a quick update on the Park and Recreation Implementation Committee. That is right under, for some reason, it's under the report and tasks. For the Parks and Recreation and Implementation Committee, we've met several times. The last meeting was this past Monday. We have identified a few sites, as previously mentioned, for the potential Parks and Rec facility. A few of the sites that are mentioned, we will be having Colliers do test fits on the sites, pretty much to see if that size facility would fit in the proposed location and if it would be the most viable solution for the town. And then after we have Colliers do the test fits, we will then work on community engagement to kind of get the community more aware of our plans and moving forward what we need for the community for recreation. And then the next steps for the committee as well is they will be touring Connecticut facilities that are kind of similar to what we are looking for recreation. And that's our most up-to-date piece on the implementation committee.
Any questions, Molly? Is there a timeline to your progress?
There's not like an official timeline at this point. We're hoping that Colliers will get the test fits done sooner rather than later, since we did already sign the contract. I mean, to be honest, we're hoping that we can have something kind of for the community by summertime, so we can start kind of doing that community engagement piece. But there's no like end goal timeline set yet. We're just waiting to kind of meet with Colliers to determine what the best plan of action will be and the best timeline. It's one of those projects that you don't want to rush, because the more education and the more awareness, the better, and the more success that we will have.
Molly, just remind me of when the actual time where you'll lose the place.
Yep, so July 1st of 2023. However, the Board of Education has let us know that the sooner that we can move out some of our pieces, the better, because they do need to kind of renovate some of those spaces for high school use.
Molly, and with the, you said you want to have something ready for, by the summer, and with Collier's, advisement as well. So is this for a proposed swing space or a proposed permanent space?
A proposed permanent space. Our proposed swing space, we've determined a couple of options, mainly Old Orchard Hill for the time being, as it will be vacant, and building maintenance could also utilize it. So that would be a viable solution for us.
And so you believe that for this summer timeline, or for this summer, that we should be able to realistically have something permanent, or an answer on something permanent for the community?
I wouldn't say an answer. I would say kind of like a proposal or a plan that we can then start to kind of engage the community to say like, hey, here's a couple of options for a permanent solution for us. What do you think about a recreation facility in this location or that location, and what would you like inside the recreational facility? We have our needs based on our current programs and what we can see in the trends of recreation in the community, but it's always great to know like what do the residents want. So we're basically going to go out and kind of get that full picture of what the recreation center would look like for South Windsor. And then hopefully, once we have that, we can have a further design kind of put in place, so that way we can show people what the design would actually be and kind of continue to paint that story.
Is there a dollar amount in place right now that, at least a preliminary dollar amount that you can say, you know, we'd like to shoot for X amount of million to build this facility, and you know, can Colliers come in that, or this could potentially build us that kind of facility? Is there a ballpark?
So unfortunately, with the economy, everything's going up. So the ballpark that we would probably say is not adequate or accurate right now to what we could get with that dollar amount. What Colliers is going to do is they're going to see with the size facility, because we're looking to 60 to 90,000 square feet, depending on kind of like the gym space and the aquatic space. So they're going to map that out square footage wise with the basic pieces of what we need, and they'll show us a range of the costs. So then that way we can kind of go out and say like, you know, here's our minimum, here's our maximum.
And last question, based on that square footage space, what do you have right now utilizing at Wapping, square footage wise, and is that something that we're fully utilizing, and so ideally beyond that, how much more do you want to add?
Yes, so the whole building of Wapping, I'm not exactly sure the whole square footage, because high school uses part of it. Do you know off the top of your head?
I know high school uses part of it, and the board of it, and building maintenance.
Building
uses
maintenance.
five rooms in there, so.
Right. So I want to say, because Old Orchard Hill was like 100-something thousand square feet, the whole footprint of the building, which is larger than Wapping, right? So we're already looking that we can just accommodate our current preschool classes and our summer camp programs in that size building. So roughly, I don't have that answer of what it is. I want to say we probably utilize like 65 to 70,000 square feet of our current facility, and we do utilize all of it. Especially at night, we have all the community groups that are utilizing the rooms. Like I just left there, and we had Girl Scouts, we had Jukido, we had a dog training group in there. It was just, you know, there's all these different groups in there at night. So we want a space that doesn't only accommodate our programs in the day, but also the community.
Thank you.
Molly, I have one follow-up. With the quote that you're receiving, is it going to be broken up so that here's the footprint, and maybe it'll be in phases? Maybe phase 1 costs this much, phase 2, phase 3?
So the committee is leaning towards not doing phases at this time.
Anyone else? Okay, moving on. George, report of open space task force?
I wasn't at the last meeting. I don't know if John was there. Did you go?
There wasn't a whole lot of discussion on too many things. One of the things we did talk about, there was a young lady, Betty Warren, that had passed away. We're going to do a memorial bench for her. They talked about, we basically went over the master plan and some of the key locations. They did add and a couple new locations. The committee talked about a bunch of different areas on a map things that the open space would want to use as target properties, I would say, that if they ever come up for sale or show the owners of the property that we do have interest in those, and Jeff is looking to prioritize the map, and we're going to go from there, and we'll just keep working on their master plan a little bit more.
Okay, thank you. Molly, Parks and Rec Director, your report, please.
Yeah, so this is the first time I haven't put COVID-19 on the top of it, because at this current point, we do not have any precautions or protocols in place. However, as we know, it's been fluctuating for the last 2 years, so who knows if we'll have to put some stuff back into place. We're monitoring with the Department of Health. However, it's not written down because we don't actually have anything. The Crosstown Trail. So we actually did make some progress in the past month with the Crosstown Trail. Eversource got back to us on their findings with the trail application. It's not necessarily favorable, some of their findings. It's pretty strict, some of the requirements they're going to be having for the trail at this time. So I met with Barton and Longice last week to kind of discuss their findings. And we determined that our next step is going to be to prioritize the high-value town properties that we can actually build and construct our trail on. And then we will go back to Eversource and show them where we're able to build on the town properties and kind of negotiate our corridors with them. Because a lot of their concerns are people utilizing their corridors, you know, just for safety purposes. So they're asking that we kind of do 50 feet around the corridors, or, you know, they want certain material around their corridors only. And it's going to be a little difficult to navigate, but it's actually a common hurdle that a lot of towns are dealing with. So the company is pretty certain that as soon as we kind of get those like 1 mile mark and like one town-owned property or like a half a mile on another, that we can kind of negotiate some stuff with Eversource. So they're going to be designing some final pieces of the trail, so that way we can kind of go forward and apply for more grants for shovel-ready projects. So hopefully Walking Wheelways will be able to kind of move forward with some grants, and we can get a couple miles done eventually on the trail. Again, it is an extremely expensive undertaking to do, and it's going to take several years. But I think it will be good for the town to have that sort of trail. So we're going to just keep working on it. In terms of CIP, I'm going to have John talk about the Rye Street portion a little bit more, but basically we are going to be moving forward to just do pickleball at this time instead of the deck hockey and pickleball portion. And that is because of funding, necessarily because our material costs and our labor costs went up significantly. So we're going to be just completing the pickleball portion to, you know, the highest standards instead of just doing 2 projects half and half. So we'll be also utilizing post-tension concrete instead of bituminous concrete, which will give a longer life expectancy of the courts, and it's going to save us money and maintenance over time as well. So that is one positive out of it, and the pickleball community will be very, very happy to have their courts done by midsummer. So that is something that we're currently working on right now. The upcoming capital projects, they were all passed, so we were awarded the funds for $200,000 for our master plan implementation. So we'll be working on that as of July 1st. In terms of programs, spring and summer updates, I mean, we have over 4,400 registrations for our summer programs at this time. Our camp is maxed out. We have huge wait lists. We're trying to alleviate some of them, so we're trying to, you know, bump up 20 slots here or there where we can. But it comes down to staffing, space, busing for our field trips, and kind of the space that the field trips have at this time. So my summer camp staff, they are working extremely hard to try to figure out opportunities for more youth to have care. You know, we are excited to be kind of opening it back up, right? So the past couple years, we've had less kids, less camps, and now we're trying to open it back up. So I don't know, we're excited. It's going to be a good challenge. I will say they've hired their full staff for the summer, which is fantastic. Usually, you know, we're struggling to find staff because it's really hard to get the seasonal help. but camp has fully gotten their staff team on board, and they will be training them the second weekend in June. For any of you that were at the egg hunt, we had 30,000 eggs distributed in April. We had that egg hunt right around Easter. And it was awesome. 2,500 people came out for the eggs, and they got 30,000 eggs. So it's pretty cool. It was a fun event. John got his dance moves in. But it was awesome just to, have the community back out and being able to enjoy a large event like that, because that was another one that we had on hiatus for a few years. Some of our other things, we were able to bring back April vacation camp for a few days, which was exciting to have the kids back in the building. Preschool, we're pretty much full again, and we have 100% full for session D, and then our session C, we had 68 out of the 70 spots filled. So we're looking good with our numbers right now. 4th R, we're going to be doing our public registration lottery on May 14th, so this Saturday, and we are going up to 100% capacity. So we are going to be adding quite a bit more kids back to our program as of next year. With that being said, we do need a ton of staff. So if anyone knows of after-school staff or people that would like an after-school job, we are going to be actively hiring to fill that gap. And then athletics are looking great. We haven't had too many rainouts so far. We just have a lot of great things coming up. The farmers market is going to be starting on June 4th. We have over 35 vendors. We have a local brewery that'll be attending every single week. We have some food trucks, and we're going to be having the showmobile with live music on that opening day. So it's going to be a big event for that. And VMP will be opening up that long weekend in May as well. So we took the pool covers off. They've been cleaning the pool. Our pool staff are starting training. They're getting in the water next week, so hopefully it stays a little warm out. But we're excited to kind of open it back up for the community and to see all the use that it'll get out of it this summer. And lastly, the budget was passed on Monday, May 9th, and the special revenue fund was adopted with expenditures totaling $2,719,058. So everything was passed. We're excited.
What is the future plan for VMP? What's its lifetime? Is it going to last?
I was going to say, does John want to answer that? Because we were just talking about it.
What's the life expectancy of it?
Yeah, that's how I mean to express that. Yes.
1 to 40 years.
Okay.
Don't know.
That'll be a potential of the referendum. That's the issue.
The engineers took a look at it, and they have come. Their conclusion basically is that the ground that it's sitting on is starting to settle slightly. We've noticed the settlements over the years. There are some ways to make some repairs to the gutter system, but I think they're going to be, when I say extremely costly, I think they're going to cost more than the pool originally cost when it was built. We do have some ways that we're combating it now, and for right now, they said, it's a super slow process. So far, so good. The guys are doing a great job on the pools, and they're almost ready to go.
So with all the programs, is there revenue coming in?
Yes, so it's a weird time because our summer programs, most of them will occur after July 1st. So all of that money goes to the next fiscal year. So we don't actually see it until, we don't actually see it until next year. We have been having a recoup of revenue, I will say. We've brought in a couple $100,000 in the last month or so, which is nice. And that is through user fees, and we're very thankful for that because it's helping out the fund. But the majority of it is going into the next fiscal year, so we're not going to see what the revenue will be until after July 1st, which is the fun part.
Hey, John, as far as the pool, it's not a safety issue, is it? It's just a...
No, that's one thing. That's the one reason we hired an engineering firm to take a look at it. They did test boring and things like that, was to make sure that we weren't going to be dealing with a safety issue, and they said no.
And is it, I'm sorry, follow-up question, is it the single pool that is having the issue, or is that something that we're seeing across the whole facility?
It's actually It's actually one central site where the three pools almost come together. The lap pool, the large pool, and the training, we call it the training pool, it's the kiddie pool. Where all three of them come together, that seems to be the low spot. The pools were designed originally with a gutter level that stayed level with the water, so the water went all the way to the edge of the gutter. Well, that doesn't occur anymore, so what we did a few years ago is we cut drains into the side of the gutter similar to a regular pool that has a skimmer on the side of it. Instead of going over the top of the gutter and in like an endless waterfall, now it just goes through the gutter. So we're still getting our turns on the pool. The water quality's still up to par, so we don't have to worry about that. And settlements really, as it slowly settles, it doesn't affect us at this time.
And the issue that we had previously with the flooding, was that isolated, or is that something that we kind of need to keep an eye on each year?
No, that's something we absolutely need to keep an eye on. We thought it was one of those one-time things, and what we did, I'm going to say 7 or 8 years ago, was we actually lowered the pond behind it by about 3.5 inches because we figured that would buy us about 6 inches of rainfall. Well, we got more than 6, and we did it in a super short period of time. The Public Works Director, Vincent Stetson, and myself and Dave Turkington, the Parks Manager, been working with the state, and one of the grants that looks like, I actually thought we were going to find out today, is to make a repair there. It'll be a permanent repair. So if that comes through, that'll be a super big win for us, and it'll be something we won't have to worry about in the future.
Thank you, John. And Molly, one more question regarding to the calendar of events. Is a question that was brought up in the community. The farmers market, we have it every Saturday, correct?
Correct.
One of those Saturday coincides with the Strawberry Festival. Is that something that we're taking into account traffic-wise, and or whether it's happening or not?
Yes, correct. So the town manager and I are working that out right now. We are still planning on having the farmers market, but only our produce vendors. And that is because the farms do struggle, so we want to make sure that we don't cut them short on what they pay for us for a season, and also their ability to sell produce, because if we don't offer them a certain amount of weeks, then they back out of the market. So we're just kind of figuring out a plan, figuring out like what's the safety piece of it, and we're planning on ramping it down to just about like 10 vendors, I think, that day, and it's only from 9 to 12, and it would take like a small little portion, and the majority would be parking for the Strawberry Fest. So there really shouldn't be too much traffic, and it's hopefully get a feed right into the Strawberry Fest, to be honest, but we do want to give a fair chance to the farmers and local produce.
Excellent. Thank you.
Any other questions, Molly? Seeing none, we'll move on. I don't have any discussion topics. Are there any topics that anyone wanted to bring up and discuss with the board?
Would you like a Parks update?
I would.
Okay. Parks guys are once again full speed ahead. I'm going to start with last council meeting. The assistant director and myself, Jen Filer, gave the mayor Pendleton did a monarch butterfly pledge, and Jen spearheaded most of it. We did a report to the council about the monarch butterfly and how important it is to the environment, and that we have already 3 butterfly gardens in our community, and we plan on expanding that. One of the big plants that the monarch butterfly seems to like, it's his favorite, similar to me with chocolate, is milkweed. I wouldn't think, the town council asked me, do we have money in the budget for it? Well, I didn't really look in to see how much milkweed seed is, but apparently it's $250 for 8 ounces of seeds. So we will put some money in our budget, but it's, I guess the seeds go a long way. So, but that is something we're gonna look to do. One of the things that we do as a Parks Department is that any of our large open fields like Wapping Park, over by the Donnelly property, and a couple other areas, we never mow them until at least the second hard frost because of all the pollinators, not only the butterflies, but the bees and everything else that helps our earth keep moving round and round. So they're a very important part of our environment. The next thing is Avery Gardens. They're all tilled in. The gardens are full speed ahead. One thing Dave took on this year was he wanted to put a type of information station at each garden, and some of the oak that had fallen in some of our previous storms was so large, he had it rough cut sawn. We used that wood to build the 2 large, I call them kiosks. They have a roof over top of them. They have the rules of the gardens on one side of the board, and on the other side, they are going to try, it's going to be a map of the gardens, an information station, a cork board for the gardeners to put notes on, and then there's also going to be 2 mailboxes on it, or just like the old-fashioned mailboxes that used to be on the side of your house, and it's going to have seeds in there, and then we're going to have 2 trays below that'll have plants, so the gardeners, if they have an extra plant, they can leave some plants. If they have extra seeds, they can leave them. If they need seeds, they can take them. So we're going to kick that program off for the first time, and I think it'll be successful. If you want to see happy people, go to the gardens, because everybody there seems to be happy. The other thing is that the crew built a fire pit up at VMP in the back for the Patriotic Commission for their flag burning ceremony. That's just about complete, and I will tell you, it looks fantastic. They did a great job. VMP, like Molly spoke about, is, I would say it's just about ready to go. We're not sweating as much as we normally are with some of the algae issues and the other problems that we have. The pumps are up and running. We're filling the pools as we speak. We usually keep them a little bit low because it's much easier for us to clean a pool that's 755,000 gallons, since, you know, the regular homeowner pool is about 15,000 gallons, to give you a perspective there. We have some new signs going up. Avery Gardens got a brand new sign. Deming Gardens, I've already spoke of that sign. The farmer's market sign is done. It's going to go up very soon, and we also revamped the Porter's Hill sign. It's a little bit more aesthetically pleasing. It was a little bland, so we changed the design of it a little bit. We changed the shape of it a little bit, and one of the things that we're trying to do is we're trying to make most of the signs in town at all the parks be somewhat consistent, same size, same basic shape. They'll have different designs to them. Of course, they'll have different park names on them. Pickleball/deck hockey. Pickleball seems to be the hot sport right now. I do not want to abandon deck hockey. I think it's a win. Some people don't necessarily agree with me on that, but what we were going to do is we were going to build pickleball and deck hockey both out of bituminous concrete blacktop. That's what currently is the TE tennis courts and the Wapping tennis courts. And if you play tennis or pickleball on them, you got to be pretty good, because you get a lot of wild bounces, a lot of dead balls, because bituminous, like your driveway, it doesn't hold up well. It's got a 5 to 6 year life expectancy before it starts cracking and splitting. After about 10 years, the cracks get so big that we're going to have to start doing repairs to them. And it's just a nonstop battle that we have right now, and we spend about $20,000 a year just making repairs to either one or the other tennis court. We can never do both. The newest thing now is post-tension concrete. Post-tension concrete comes with a 20-year warranty right off the bat. It plays well. It has very little maintenance to it. We've been talking to the vendor. We've been negotiating with the contractor. I think we've got him down to an extremely reasonable price where we are going to finish pickleball. He's hoping by midsummer, and that'll be nets, line painting, everything that we need to do, fence around it. I think we're going to have enough money to add the sidewalk in the center of the two, and hopefully put conduit around and run the electrical for the lighting. I'm not sure if we're going to have enough money for the lighting itself. Dave and I have talked in depth about deck hockey. We want to try and continue to fund it, but we want to have our crew try and take on that project in-house so we can actually complete it. Deck hockey is not near as complicated as pickleball when it comes to building it, because one of the things that Molly and I and Dave have looked at is sports court flooring. It's I guess I'd almost call it like a snap together squares. It goes over top of the bituminous. So if we can use the bituminous for the first 4, 5, 6 years, it won't give us a problem. But if it does start to crack, we want to save up money in the budget to put this flooring down, and then that flooring, it won't matter if it cracks underneath it. It'll also have the design of the court in it. We're very confident that we can put the fence up, and we can probably do the paving in-house. So that's the report on pickleball. I am really hoping that I've been pushing the contractor pretty hard about aggressive pricing, and with inflation at a rate that's unbelievable and the cost of everything, he's been very generous so far, so I think that's about it for the Parks Department. And again, I can't tell you how proud of my 12 guys I am, because they do an awful lot in town with just 12 of them. I know there's some things that fall down once in a while, and I guess the big question is, you know, what do we let fall to let something else keep standing, so to speak. So we're gonna shift some of our focuses right now. Sports are all caught up, and we got the grass. Unfortunately, the grass is growing like a banshee right now, so we're gonna have to start concentrating that on in some of our planting areas, flower areas, and gateways into town. That's gonna be our priority now. And I think that's it.
Hey, John, I'm interested, and maybe Molly, on the proper way to dispose of a flag. You said you created a pit?
Well, the pit is for the Patriotic Commission. There's boxes around town. I believe the town hall has one. I know the town garage has one, and Wapping has one also. You just walk in, open it up, and there's a box right inside there, and you just throw it in there. Patriotic Commission takes them, and they do a ceremony each year, and Art Sladek is usually has him and a couple other gentlemen there take that, and they take care of the flags, and they have the brand new fire pit we're gonna test out this year.
I wonder, and maybe it's there, but when we do send out our pamphlets quarterly or whenever they go out, do we have a little paragraph there to tell people? Because I actually didn't know.
Yeah, there is a section in the brochure for the veterans, and that I can't say for sure that it's in there about it, but we can make sure that and make sure, but I believe it's in there.
Okay.
It was in there last year.
Okay.
Yeah, I read it.
Is there an update on the splash? And
Not at this time.
okay, is that gonna happen?
Yeah, the Rotary is having their auction on Saturday, so they're going to be raising funds then, and we're going to be talking about other funding methods, but, I mean, it's not going to be a project for this summer.
Okay, thank you. Any questions for Molly? Are there any motions? Sure. Please. Genevieve?
Just wanted to mention that with the help of Molly and John and David, the Girl Scouts of South Windsor had planned a great event, a sleepover camp-out event up at the pavilion in the field behind VMP for May 6th. Unfortunately, the weather was just too iffy with potential for rain and wind, and the temperatures were dropping, and given we had a lot of would-be first-time campers, we were not able to hold the event after such amazing support. But I just wanted to give a thank you. We were able to stop by the office today with a large variety of Girl Scout cookies for the department to share. Unless John brought them all home, I'm not sure. But if I may, can I read the thank you note that we included
Sure,
with the cookies?
please.
Thank you.
Absolutely.
To Molly and John, thank you. Even though this past weekend didn't work out as we had hoped, we are incredibly grateful for all of your assistance in planning the South Windsor Girl Scouts townwide campout. The response we had with girls registering for the event was significantly greater than we had expected. You can be assured that we will be trying again, hopefully in the fall, so all of the planning and preparation will not be wasted. As soon as we set a new date, we will be in touch to reserve that site again, because it is really a perfect site for what we're trying to do with the girls. And the support we received from the Parks and Rec Department is very meaningful to us, and we're just thankful for your dedication to the Scouts and the youth of our town. We hope that you'll accept all of those boxes of Girl Scout cookies as a token of our appreciation. So on behalf of our planning team and South Windsor Girl Scouts, we just wanted to say thank you, and we hope that come September we'll be able to get that going again.
For the record, we did share the Girl Scout cookies with the crew, all right? I might have had one box that I snuck home, so.
Wonderful.
No, but we're always happy to help, and we want to be able to support our youth and our local organizations in town, so we're really excited for the opportunity for them to do it in the fall.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Genevieve. Is there a motion to close? Motion's been made.
Second.
Seconded. All those in favor say aye. All opposed, same sign. We are adjourned.